Hello friends, you are welcome back. We're just introducing demand curve. So a demand curve is a graph representing the quantity demanded of a commodity at various prices. So the difference between a demand curve and a demand schedule is a table or a list, and a demand curve is a graph. So a demand curve also shows the inverse relationship between quantity demanded of a commodity and its various prices. The demand curve is derived from plotting the demand schedule on a graph. Okay, so at let's look at the operation of the demand curve. As the price increases, the quantity demanded decreases, and as the price decreases, the quantity demanded increases. I'll show you a pictorial view. I'll make you have a pictorial view of it. So this is an example of a demand curve. This is basically the demand schedule I showed you represented on a graph. Let's observe something here. As at the price of 100 Ghana cedis, we have quantity demanded being 20, and as the price decreased from 100 cedis to 80 cedis, we have quantity demanded increasing from 20 to 40. Okay, let's look at the price of 20 cedis or dollars. Okay, we have dollars here, so let's use dollars. $20, the quantity demanded is 100, but as the price increases from $20 to $40, we see quantity demanded decreasing. As price increases, quantity demanded decreases, and as price decreases, quantity demanded increases. There is an inverse or negative relationship between quantity demanded and price. The next thing to take note of is demand function. A demand function is a mathematical relationship between quantity demanded of a commodity and its determinants. Right. There is a functional relationship between demand and its various determinants. And when I talk about determinants, I mean factors that affect quantity demanded, or factors that determine how much how much of a commodity will be demanded, or how many, depending on the type of commodity. Right. So when this relationship is expressed mathematically, it is called a demand function. A demand function of a commodity can be written as follows. We have D is equal to F into brackets PYT PSU. Mathematically, it is mentioned this way. D is a function of P, which is the price of the commodity, Y, which is income. All these represent something that determines demand, and we will mention all the determinants of demand for you to well appreciate. Okay, so the demand function, we have D is a function of P, which is the price of the commodity, Y, which is the income of the consumer, T, which is taste and preference of the consumer, or of consumers, PS, which is price of substitutes, U, which is consumers' expectations and others, and the F represents function. So D is a function of, in other words, it says that demand is dependent on the price of the commodity, the income, the taste and preferences, price of substitutes, and also consumer expectations and others. Right, that is a demand function. One thing also worthy of note is market demand. Market demand refers to the total demand for a commodity by all the consumers of the commodity. So if the individual demands are summed up, what we have is market demand. So it's the aggregate or horizontal summation of the quantity demanded for a commodity by all the consumers in a market. It can be expressed in the following schedule. So this is also a market demand schedule for eggs, and we have consumer A, consumer B, consumer C, consumer D. To get the market demand, we will add the quantity demanded of consumer A to that of consumer B, to that of consumer C, to that of consumer D. So as you see here, we have 1 plus 2 plus 0 plus 0, and it is 3. At price 10. At price 8, we have 2 plus 3 plus 1, which is 6. And that is how a market demand schedule is derived. Okay, this is also a different example of a market demand schedule, and it follows the same principle. the same principle. Great. So the market demand schedule can also be graphed, and that is called a market demand curve. So it starts when price is 20 Ghana cedis. We have quantity demanded being 700 Ghana cedis. That is the summation of all the individual demands. So we have Paul's demand, we have Eunice's demand. When they are all summed up, we have 700 units of the commodity, right? If price increases to 40, we have demand decreasing, market demand decreasing from 700 to 500. When price goes to 60, market demand is 350, and when price gets to 80, we have market demand being 200. When price gets to 100, we have market demand being 100. So that is how the market demand works. I'll pause here and continue in the next video. I want you to stand by for the next video. It will be very interesting. Stand by, please.